Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Carolina Photography Podcast. I am Yeager. This is episode 11.5 because it's like a follow-up episode to what I just talked about in the last one. I am from Photo17.com, the online home of Carolina Photography, a photographer for several years and wedding photographer. And the last episode was about why you should hire a professional wedding photographer. And I'm here to tell you right now, devil's advocate, why you should not hire a professional wedding photographer, and maybe why you don't need to hire a professional wedding photographer. Perhaps that too is a title. I can't really decide on what this one's called. I just know it's episode 11.5. Now, last time I was going on to a point about how the photographer can be the great go-between between the bride and the family and the vendors, and how having that glue to sort of pull everything together seems to fall on the still photographer more so than the videographer, even though the videographer nowadays is getting more and more involved as the videos get more and more complex. As I'm doing my homework and prep for my next wedding coming up that I'm so fortunate to have, I'm seeing so many new styles, and not just from the US. Like, people are creating short art house projects now. So those videographers are most definitely crazy involved with everything going on. However, that's a topic for another episode, which I already did one about videography. Or I've got one coming up about videography. I forget where I am in my notes and my thought and schedule. Today, one reason why... let's start back over. Goodness gracious. It's lightning out here, and Renegade, my dog's running around, and preseason football just went off, so I'm all over the place. But the first reason I just want to talk about why you don't need to hire a professional photographer, why you don't need to spend the money, is because it's all about love, right? That is the main thing that you're getting married for. This is what couples are coming together for as one in a union, okay? The periphery stuff and having photographers who, it's okay, you like them, or if you feel like we're just kind of a thing that you're just kind of supposed to have. No, it's all about love and getting together for a relationship and becoming a team, right? Isn't that the whole thing that it's all about? And I feel like I'm so out of breath because I've been running around and I just sat down for the first time in a little while. But that's really the whole case with getting married, right? That's the point. So let's not lose sight of the entire point. And if the photographers are expensive or you don't have the cash to pay the ones that you want, don't worry about it. Don't compare your wedding to anybody else's. I want people to realize that weddings, they're yours, okay? Getting together, that's your thing. And comparing to other people is just a recipe for disaster. And we photographers, we have that problem too. We compare our stuff to other people's all the time. And I was like, I just don't know if Michelangelo did that. I don't know when he was painting ceilings if he compared his paint brushes to other people's and strokes. Maybe he did. Whatever the Instagram of the day was. I don't know, stone tablets. Maybe there was some of that in there, but I don't think that hung up a lot of the older artists of the day. But I know they were all human too. So, hey, maybe it did. Anyway, back on topic. Another thing why I believe you don't really need to always have a professional wedding photographer, eloping and keeping it intimate and getting married on the fly. Even eloping isn't necessarily like just a spur of the moment thing. It's not like Vegas. We just met. Let's go to the drive-through marriage, even though I think that one might have a photographer on the side somewhere too for a little extra fee. It is, I think it's sweet as can be to just be two people, and whoever's marrying you, or however you want to go about it, or maybe just a small number of family members. I think that's so sweet and intimate. And I love large, extravagant productions of weddings, and I also like the smaller ones. Like one wedding in the backyard, I'm almost tearing up just thinking about how cute that is. I love all that stuff where you just don't need all the periphery things sometimes. Let's keep it on what matters, the individuals. Another reason, maybe you've got a friend or family member who is a great photographer. Maybe they are a pro. and you don't have to stress about the rigmarole of worrying about Uncle Jack, Jenny, from Jack Jenny, that's a good name, from 77, who had a camera that may or may not work, and you don't know if Jack Jenny's going to be able to make it or if he still has that camera from 1977. So maybe I should do have friends who are photographers, because photographers are people. They know other people and are friends with people, so maybe you do have it covered and don't have to worry about hiring somebody, which all that is great. You know, whatever works, it gets the job done. I would kind of suggest, unless, you know, they say otherwise, tip them something, because this is a good bit of work. Even if it's 5 people involved in the project, it's still a little bit of getting up and getting it done. And the other thing, I don't begrudge anybody for just saying we're using our phone. Now, obviously, I'm using more state-of-the-art cameras and larger cameras with bigger sensors, but people don't know what they don't know when it comes to photos and video and things like that, right? So, like, I will watch photos and video with a completely different eye than somebody who's not editing those things and shooting those things and really deep into those technical aspects. So you don't know what you don't know, and that's not a bad thing. I don't expect you to go out here and take 40 hours of photo training to get your trained eye. None of that hoity-toityness and superiority. We don't do that here. That is not what anybody's about. It's not what I'm about. Okay, so if you were A-okay with that camera phone, go ahead and use it, because that's what it's there for, to take photos. And by the way, I've got camera phone photos and GoPro photos that are in the last couple of weddings, and I absolutely adore those photos. They're not practical to shoot an entire wedding in the style that I want to shoot in. It would completely change the look and feel if I try to do an entire wedding that way, and also I don't think it would be as fast or as practical, and I wouldn't have the ability to edit those photos properly, quote unquote properly, like I would want them to be. It would be a completely different experiment for me. But if you're not into all of that and just want images snapped, by all means, go for it. I do not look down on you, because it's your show. It is not my show, all right? And, well, we're about getting at the end of time, and that's about all I just wanted to go over. I just wanted to play that devil's advocate role from my last podcast on Carolina's Photography, where I said why you should hire a professional photographer. Here's why you shouldn't maybe not hire a professional photographer. I'll figure out the name of it. We got another podcast coming next week. Thank you for listening. If you're on YouTube listening to this audio podcast, hit that like, subscribe button, and share. If you are listening in the podcast catcher of your choice, whether it be Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please subscribe. And I will be back next week talking about more. Okay, I gotta get my catchphrase and slogan now. We'll be back talking about more still and moving images. I gotta figure out if that's exactly how I read it down before. It started to get how I had it before, but we're gonna get it straightened out here. All righty, everybody, have a great week. We'll talk to you a little bit later on in life. Bye, y'all.